Have you ever felt like the more deeply you think, the further you drift from everyone else? That the more clearly you see, the less people want to hear? You're not imagining it. Throughout history, society hasn't just feared deep thinkers. It has rejected them. Not because their ideas were wrong, but because they revealed truths most would rather ignore. From Socrates to Copernicus to Nietzsche, those who dared to question the foundations of the world were silenced, ridiculed, or isolated. And it wasn't because they lacked wisdom. It was because wisdom unsettles. It challenges comfort, and humans cling to comfort like a lifeline. But why is it that deep thinking isolates? Why does profound understanding often lead not to connection, but to loneliness? The answer hides in the architecture of human psychology. When we meet someone physically stronger, we admire their strength. When someone is wealthier, we might envy their success. But when we meet someone who sees deeper, who questions assumptions we didn't even realize we had, something else stirs inside us: discomfort. Psychologists call this the mirror effect. A deep thinker doesn't just propose new ideas, they reflect back our own intellectual blind spots. And nothing bruises the ego faster than realizing we may not be as wise as we thought. Even if a thinker says nothing at all, their presence alone can feel like a silent judgment. It's not that they are condescending, it's that their existence challenges the illusions we build to feel secure. Strength, beauty, wealth, these are external. We can admire them without feeling attacked. But intelligence touches something sacred: our identity. We define ourselves by what we know, what we believe, how we interpret the world. When someone brings a deeper understanding, it doesn't just offer an alternative. It shakes the very ground we stand on. This is why people often resist intellectuals, not because they are rude or arrogant, but because they unknowingly challenge the delicate ego structures everyone clings to. It's easier to dismiss a deep thinker than to reconsider one's entire worldview. The roots of this reaction stretch far back into human evolution. In ancient times, survival wasn't about being the smartest. It was about fitting into the tribe. Belonging meant safety. Isolation meant death. Today, our brains still prioritize acceptance over truth. When a deep thinker disrupts the social norm, challenges group beliefs, or highlights uncomfortable realities, they trigger the same biological alarm bells as a physical threat. Modern neuroscience confirms it. Feeling intellectually inferior activates the brain's amygdala, the center for fear and threat response. In other words, deep thinking doesn't just make people uncomfortable, it makes them feel unsafe. A fascinating 2021 Stanford study revealed that the rejection of deep thinkers spikes in group settings. One-on-one, people are curious. But in a group, social comparison kicks in. No one wants to feel outshined. No one wants to be reminded of their intellectual limits in front of others. This explains why profound conversations happen quietly, in intimate settings, but why deep thinkers often struggle at parties, meetings, and public forums. Add to that the biases wired into our minds, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Those who know the least often think they know the most, making them resistant to deeper insights. Status quo. Bias. Humans prefer familiar ideas over complex truths, even when the familiar is wrong. The backfire effect. Confronted with challenging ideas, people double down instead of opening up. Social media has amplified all of this. Fast, catchy, emotionally charged content wins attention, while nuanced, thoughtful ideas are drowned out. Our world values simplicity over substance, and that leaves deep thinkers shouting into the void. So, what does this mean if you're someone who craves truth? Someone who sees the world not just as it is, but as it could be? It means isolation isn't a failure, it's almost inevitable. Society is built to protect comfort, not to pursue wisdom. And the deeper you think, the more you will threaten that comfort. Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher who spoke so candidly about suffering, argued that intelligence isn't a gift, it's a burden. Those who see too much often find it hard to connect with those who are content to look away. Most people chase pleasure, approval, and distraction. But deep thinkers are drawn towards something infinitely harder, truth, even when it hurts. But Schopenhauer didn't leave us without hope. He believed that while deep thinking leads to loneliness, it also opens the door to the greatest freedoms. Embrace solitude. Find power in being alone with your thoughts. Creativity, insight, and true peace grow in solitude. Find your tribe. Seek out others who value depth. They are rare, but they exist. Accept the cost. Recognize that seeking truth demands sacrifices, but that it's a noble path few have the courage to walk. Because in the end, it's better to walk alone in truth than to march blindly with the crowd.